Na punyam, na papam, na saukhyam, na dukkham. Nirvana Shatakam Series 3. Punyam or the good deeds with their consequence of saukhyam or happiness, and papam or bad deeds with their consequence effects of dukkham or misery are karmic in nature. The agency for performing the karma are through the karmendriya or the action organs. The resulting perceptions formed are through the agency of mana or mind. Punyam is the desired karma over papam, because generally we perceive pleasure as more welcome than pain. And the pleasure and pain are consequences of the actions of good and bad deeds, respectively. While this is a linear pattern, there is another pattern too which is not very apparent. Let us understand this with a story from the Mahabharata. After the great war of Mahabharata, there took place a conversation between Dhritarashtra and Krishna. Dhritarashtra was grief-stricken at the death of his 100 sons in the war. In the resulting anger therefrom, Dhritarashtra questioned Krishna as to why this happened. Why were my 100 sons killed in the war? Krishna is the epitome of Sthita Prajna, while Dhritarashtra is under the sway of happiness and misery stemming from his good and bad deeds. Krishna replies to Dhritarashtra that this is due to his past karma. To this, Dhritarashtra asks for explanation. And Krishna replies, "Let me take you to one of your karmic actions performed many births back. Listen and you will know for yourself." Many births back, you were a hunter of birds, and in your greed, you once threw a burning net on a tree, causing 100 small baby birds to burn and die. The parent birds flew away but became blind due to the scorching smoke from the burning tree. That is the reason why, owing to the parent birds becoming blind, you are blind in this life. The death of the 100 baby birds is the cause for your 100 sons to be killed. To this explanation, Dhritarashtra had a follow-up question. But why in this lifetime, after so many births? Why did it take so many births for that karma of bad deeds to fructify? To which Krishna patiently elaborated. The bad deed remained dormant because you had to accumulate enough good deeds to merit you to be eligible to have 100 sons in one lifetime. Once you were fit to have 100 sons in a single lifetime, that previous sinful deed ripened to give the consequence of death of your 100 sons and blindness of your eyes. Now let us analyze this. The deed performed by the hands of the hunter, who is Dhritarashtra in his previous birth, is casting of a burning net atop a tree which had many birds residing on it. This deed is characterized as bad because it caused suffering to numerous parent birds who were blinded by the scorching smoke and the death of baby birds by the burning net. This was the effect. The consequences of the actions of Dhritarashtra had to be borne by himself only, a reaction to the ill effect on the other living creatures. However, for this to happen, there is an intermediate period because it necessitates the bearing of 100 sons in a single lifetime to Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra requires to perform good deeds and accumulate them. The amassing of good deeds is not an easy task and therefore spans over many lifetimes, after which Dhritarashtra's 100 sons are born. One may observe that the performance of good and bad deeds are entangled within one another. This shows a convoluted pattern in addition to a direct linear pattern. One incidental cause and effect example is only taken to demonstrate the coils of karma. When more are taken, it gets more complex and entwined. Also, on a note of caution, it does not mean that one is allowed to irresponsibly perform bad deeds. The striving is to perform good deeds only. When the moon shines, the sky is illuminated at the top in the skies, whilst the earth is enshrouded in darkness. Such is the status of good deeds and bad deeds, where the good deeds hold a position higher than that of bad deeds. When seen from Dhritarashtra's perspective, the duality of papam and punyam with their consequences of dukkham and saukhyam respectively become prominent. But when seen from Krishna's perspective, who is the epitome of sthita prajna with a balanced view and who is the witness, one realizes that the identification of the self with the dual attributes is the obstruction. It can be said that on the tree of samsara, Dhritarashtra is like the bird eating the fruit of his karmic actions and thereby enjoying, suffering the fruits of his karma. On the other hand, Krishna is the witnessing bird watching the other bird. As a witness, Krishna is aware of the past karmic actions of Dhritarashtra and tells him about it. Thus, Sri Adi Shankaracharya advises not to identify with either the actions nor their consequences like Dhritarashtra, but become the witness like Krishna, to understand the self in the verse na punyam, na papam, na saukhyam, na dukkham of the Nirvana Shatakam.